Yes, guys. Where is my screen? Okay. We are going to talk about virtual local area networks. Right? Very, very important. Right? There is no company without VLAN. Right? You have to understand this lesson properly and go back to your CVs, update your CVs. Right? So when we are talking about VLAN, we are talking about a single network, right? One network, right? For those who are writing, you can too. Okay, I cannot even move like. Okay, let's say you have one physical network, right? One physical network, right? You cannot keep like all your devices in a single network, right? Don't keep all your computers like in a single network, right? So don't keep all devices like in a network, right? What's gonna happen when you keep all your devices like in a single network? Those are the issues that you're gonna have. The first one, management, the issue, management, right? When you are keeping like everybody in a single network, you will have management problem, right? So you can click like maybe on your network. So you go to File Explorer, you click on network, you will see thousands of computers. How are you gonna manage them? How are you gonna find like a single computer? So it's going to be very hard, right? Number two, security. Right? You are going to have security problems when you are keeping like everybody like in a single room. Your sons, your daughters, they are using the same room. They are going to have kids, right? So brothers and sisters are going to get married because they are using the same room. So when you are keeping your computers using single network, you are going to have security problems. Means that it's so easy from one computer to move to another computer, right? Because we are using the like same room, like all of us. It's so easy for one user to move from his computer to another computer, right? Number three, like performance, right? Your network will be slow. Why? Because you are in the same room. You are in the same network, right? So data will flow using a single network. That particular network will be slow, right? So when you have a single network, there are issues that can happen. Number one is management. How will you know which computer belongs to which department? So it's going to be very difficult. Security issues. One computer can move to another computer. Like here, the way you are sitting here. From your computer, you can go to File Explorer. When you click on network, you can see like all those other computers. Why? Because you are in a single network. Number three, it's performance issues, right? So now what to do? We have to avoid those three issues, right? So to avoid those issues, that's why these guys, they came up with what? VLANs, right? They came up with VLANs. You have to create virtual local area networks, right? So to avoid those issues, we are going to create what? Virtual networks, right? So we have one physical network that we are going to split in many logical. So we are splitting one physical to many virtual, right? Did you understand why we are doing so? So when you have a switch, right? One physical switch means it's one network, right? So one switch, one network. So if you connect 100 computers to one switch, means you're still using what? One network, right? Now, what we are going to do now, we are going to split this switch by having some virtual networks, right? We are going to create virtual networks from this physical switch, right? So VLAN creations. All right. Now we are going to see how to create those virtual networks, right? From the physical switch. So you have one physical switch. You as a specialist, you're gonna say, okay, we have one physical switch. Means that we have only one network. This network will have problems. Why? Because we are in the same family. So which kind of problems? Like management, security, right? And performance. Let's try to create virtual networks from this physical switch, right? So this is what now we're gonna do, right? So I'm gonna give you the exercise that we're gonna do. See, like here, right? This company has how many departments? 3, right? So for one switch, so we are going to create 3 departments. Those 3 departments, they are what? They are virtual LAN, virtual local area networks. So those are the number that we're gonna assign. So those are the number of computers for every network. So those are the port, and those are the IPs, right? Yeah. First, let's see the steps for creating a VLAN, right? Step number 1. Right? Step for creating VLANs, right? So you're gonna type VLAN followed by a number, right? Maybe I'm gonna say VLAN 10, right? Step number 2, you must give it a name. So I'm gonna say name HR, right? Step number 3, you have to determine the nature of the port. So we're gonna say switch port mode access, but we're gonna understand what does it mean later. And step number 4, you have to assign ports to that VLAN. Switch port. So I'm going to explain those 4 steps, right? So for you to create a VLAN, step number 1, you're going to type the command VLAN 10. That number, you're going to choose it, right? Step number 2, you must give it a name. So you're going to say name HR. Step number 3, when you have a switch, right? You see those ports can be what we call access or trunk, right? For now, we're gonna say switch port mode access. Now, the last one, we are going to assign the port to that VLAN, right? So what does it mean? You create a VLAN, right? You give it a name, and you said, okay, you're gonna behave as an access port, right? Number 4, you have to choose the ports that are going to belong to data VLAN, right? So from the physical switch, your physical switch will have many ports, right? Now you're gonna choose which ports will belong to HR, which ports gonna belong to marketing, right? So you are going to decide, right? So when I'm gonna come with my computer. By plugging to that port, my port will direct me to the correct VLAN. Let's do it in practicals, right? So you can understand from here. Okay. So I want one PC, one switch, and we are going to console. And maybe I'm gonna put here just 4 PCs. All right. And we're going to connect them to the switch. Oh, I'm plugging. Let me take this. Make sure that you are going in order. So this one is 0/1, 0/2, 0/3, 0/4, right? So this one, I'm gonna put it in VLAN 10. This one I can put it in VLAN 20. Or let me, for now I can keep them in VLAN 20. VLAN. So I'm waiting for you to reach this part, and you must write down there, right? So guys, you can see from my design, right? It's only one switch, but we need to avoid like management issues, security issues, and performance issues. So we are going now to create VLANs, right? But according to these exercises, we are going to create like 2 VLANs, VLAN 10 and VLAN 20. Means we are going to split this network into virtual networks, VLAN 10 and 20. So I'm waiting you to reach there so that we can start the configurations, right? You must know where you plug. So this one is port number 1, 0/1, 0/2, 0/3, and 0/4, right? Yeah. Yeah, you can pick up a laptop, there's no problem. From the console, there's no problem. You can pick up a PC or a laptop, no problem. Guys, this side, you must go like logically. So fast Ethernet 0/1, fast Ethernet 0/2, fast Ethernet 0/3, fast Ethernet 0/4, right? Can we start now? Yes? No. You type it yourself. Just write down the villain 10, villain 10, villain 20. Means that those two computers, we're going to put them where? Like in villain 10, and those two one will go to villain 20, right? We call it villain like ID. Villain ID is villain 10, number 10. Villain ID for that one is number 20. Are you there? After these lessons, when you understood about villains, go to your CVs, networking skills, you have to update. You have to add villains. So you know how to create villains, how to manage villains, how to, right? Okay, let's go now from the configuration. So I'll show you now how to create those villains. Okay, so you go to terminal, right? You go to your terminal. Are you here with me? No. What's going on? Because you don't practice at home. You forgot even how to go to terminal. No. So I just went to terminal. Using the PC or the switch. Where to go to the terminal, my friend? Where is your console cable? Why are you going to the terminal, something that is not using the console cable? Okay. You guys, I will take now the head approach. The head one means you don't do my work, you go home.
So, is this how you want the plate to be?
Which one? What I'm saying?
Is it correct like this?
I don't even know what you're doing. You just do whatever. I don't know what you do. Where you are, I don't know. Okay. You have to go to a global configuration mode. Right? So enable configure terminal. So you must be like here. All right. We're gonna go to step number 1. What is step number 1? You have to precise the villain ID, right? So I can just say villain like ID. That ID is a specific number, right? So we go here, we're gonna say what? Villain 10. So type for me villain 10. Step number 1, we precise the villain ID, right? You can say villain 20, you can say villain 40, right? But later on, we are going to see some numbers that you cannot use. When you say villain 10, you press what? Enter. You must be, right? You're gonna be in villain mode. Are you there? Step number 2, remember guys, it's what? You have to name your villain, right? You have to name your villain, right? You must give it a name according to the department, right? Now you're gonna be here, you say, name HR. Name space HR. Name space, right? Press enter. Right? You can exit or continue, but for now, let's exit. You type again, villain 20. When you exit, You type again villain 20. You press what? You must give it a name. Name marketing. You press what? Enter. This is how to create villains, right? When I'm gonna give you an exercise, maybe with 10 villains, you must create them like that, like this. Villain 10, you give it a name. Villain 20, you give it a name. Villain 30, you give it a name, right? When you are done creating villains, right, we can try to check if those villains really are there by saying do show villain. Do show villain. Do space show villain. No. When you are saying do, there is no need for you to exit. Do space show space villain. Hey, you know when you are using show, there is space. You press enter, right? Hey, my screen is a bit big, huh? See you guys. Okay. See the villain column. Check on your side. Villain column. You saw number 10? You saw number 20? There is any problem on how to create villain and how to check them?
No, the names, the marketing and yeah.
Mine you cannot see, but you can see because my screen is very large for you to see properly, right?
Okay.
Guys, you can see the villains, you can see their name, right? It means that you split it, that switch, like in different departments. For you to create a villain, you must look at number of departments, right? So it's your own like decision, the way your infrastructure looks like, the way your business looks like. It's okay, because we have those kind of departments, let's try to split them like this, right? Guys, if there's any problem on how to create villains, let's start again. I'm gonna start again with a new switch, new computer. We're gonna create again some villains and we're gonna rename them before moving to step number 3, right? We did number 1, villain ID, and I saw you how to rename. Guys, go to your packet, right? Just go next here, all right? So you can put another PC here and another switch. You console again, all right? So we're gonna create some villains and we're gonna do what? We are going to rename them, right? No, just put another switch and another computer and you console, right? When you are done, we are going to create again. So I wanted you just to master how to create and how to rename, right? So you're gonna go to your PC, you go to terminal, right? We are doing the same thing. Right? So from the global configuration mode, you're gonna say what? Let's say VLAN 50, right? For you to rename, you're gonna say name IT. You press enter. You can continue, but I don't want you to do it like that. You say again VLAN 70. Name finance. You press what? Right? And you're gonna say do show villain. When you go here, you will see all your villains. Villain 50 is there, right? Villain 50 is there, and the name are there, right?
What is the VLAN number?
You must pick up your own, all right? But for now, you must pick up what I'm giving to you. Guys, any problem on how to create VLAN and how to rename them, right? And how to check. So I showed you how to create a VLAN. I showed you how to rename like a VLAN and how to check the VLAN, right? Sometimes there's a problem, like this computer cannot connect to the internet or to other network. Maybe that computer belongs to the wrong VLAN, right? How to check? You can just go to the switch, you say show VLAN or do show VLAN. Now you will say, no, you are using a wrong VLAN. This computer belongs to finance department, right? Any question, guys, before us moving forward? Make sure that you understood how to create VLAN, how to rename VLAN, before moving to step number. Right? So, Steve, you see now when you split your networks like this, right? Now, step number 3, right? Because here you create it already, right? Step number 3, you have to decide which type of port will go to which VLAN, right? Like here, maybe your switch will have like 20 ports, right? Now you have to say how many ports will go to IT and how many ports will go to finance, right? So it's your own decision, right? When you assign those ports to a particular VLAN, what's gonna happen? When somebody will come and plug his computer, that computer will belong straight to that VLAN, right? So step number 3 now, guys. Are you ready? We can move to step number 3.
Yes.
Okay, now we're gonna see how to assign this one. So we are here. So if you don't understand, I'm gonna come back to you before the end of the day. You are going to master. We are going to see how to assign ports. Oh, yeah, this one step number 4. Okay, step number 3. You have to decide your port will be access or trunk, right? When you have a switch, my friends, please give me that switch. Is there?
What's the switch?
Yeah, that one, that box, the one that you're gonna see. That's a device. That device is port. Hey, you don't know switch. Hey, she's giving me a motherboard. My lord, yo, I'm dying now. She's giving me a motherboard now. Eh? You see, you must come to IT. Yeah. Okay. So you see this particular switch, right?
Yes.
Those are the ports, right? Those ports can behave as a access or trunk, right? Those ports from the switch, you can make them access or trunk, right? So trunk means that when you make it like a trunk, means that port gonna be used for connecting VLANs, right? When you make a port like a trunk, means that port will be used for connecting what? VLAN. When you wanna connect two VLAN, you can connect them by using a trunk port, right? But if you make it like an access port, that access port will be used just for sending and receiving, right? Not for connecting VLANs. For connecting VLANs, you are using a trunk port, right? So this port that you can see here, that port, you can make it like access or trunk. When you make it a trunk, means that that port will be used for connecting the VLANs, for connecting different networks. Right?
Yes.
So that port gonna be used for sending like data from one VLAN to another. Right? So this is the meaning of a trunk port. Right? But this other one is a like access port. Right? So we're gonna make like our port like access, right? So let's say go to your terminal. Yeah, like here. Right? Be there. And remember that the VLANs that we are talking about, the trunk will allow you to connect same VLANs but in different switches. This is really what does it mean. But I don't want to first move there. Right? We are here, right? No, I'm just going to the global configuration mode. I've done nothing, right? Now, so I'm gonna take maybe 5 ports, right? So at the same time, right? Just type like interface range. So this command is when you wanna configure so many ports at the same time. Interface range, maybe FA 0/1, right? Space dash space 6. This command means that I'm gonna configure how many ports? 6. From 0 to 6. Right? So you wanna configure them like at the same time. Right? Jonathan, you see the meaning of this command? The interface range, when you wanna configure like so many ports like at the same time. Interface space range space FA 0/1 space dash space 6 means you wanna configure 6. Don't forget that range because you are dealing with so many interfaces. Press enter. Right? Remember, if you wanna put them on, so you can say no shutdown, eh? Hey, but don't do it. No, I'm just saying because so when you wanna put like so many interfaces on like at the same time. Now from here, what we're gonna say, we are going to put like those ports as access. So you're gonna say switch port mode access. Do it, guys. Switch port space mode access. When you create your VLAN, when you rename your VLAN, you have to determine your ports are going to be the access one or the trunk one. When you are done, you press what? Enter, right? What does it mean by this comment? So all those 6 ones, they are what? They are access port, right? Now, we are going to step number 4. We are going to assign them to a specific VLAN. This one. So we are going to assign. Let me open the bracket. Specifics. So we are going to assign those ports to a specific VLAN. So we're gonna do what? Switch port access VLAN Which VLAN? Yeah, 10. Switch port, accessor, VLANer, 10. What does it mean? It means those 6 ports will belong to HR department, right? So those one will belong to VLAN 10. Those 6 that you choose, they will belong there. So any computer you're gonna plug, like between those ports, straight will belong to that VLAN. Press what? For you to check, you're gonna say what? Do show VLAN. So interface range, you precise number of ports, which mode access or mode trunk. The last one is which VLAN those ports will belong to, right? I'm going to repeat. So if you still like you still have some difficulties, we are going to start from the beginning again, right? Don't look at me like that. You must blame yourself. If you are late, blame yourself. Don't blame the trainer. Don't blame me, right? But I'm used to it. Okay, okay, let's verify. Do show VLAN. Do show VLAN, you press what? Enter. Right? My screen is very huge. I'm gonna try to make it. What did you see here? I see a check from VLAN 10. Check the column. You can see those spots, and they are here. So they belong to what? To VLAN 10, huh? And you can see. Check the column. You're gonna see the ports that are belonging to VLAN 10, right? So sometimes for troubleshooting, right? You can just come, you check the VLAN, and say, my man, you are in a wrong VLAN. This computer is using the wrong VLAN or wrong department, right? So any computer that you're gonna come and plug to that port, that computer will belong straight to VLAN 10, right? And remember that for every department, you are going to have what? Some configurations, right? Like in terms of speed and so on, right? So it's going to be very easy for you like to manage or to allocate what? Data or bandwidth, or to configure security, right? Or restrictions or policies, because these guys, you know already their range, their VLAN. So you can play with so many configurations according to their department. Because for every department, they will have their own policies, like in terms of how to access the computers, what to do, what not doing, maximum speed or bandwidth, and so on, right? So you can play with ports that way, but later on, right? So guys, we discussed how to create VLAN, how to rename them, how to decide like the mode, access or trunk, and how to assign to a particular VLAN, right? Let's repeat again down there. Just press enter, enter. So we're gonna exit. Let's go to VLAN 20, right? So we're gonna take the port from 7 to 15. So interface range from 10, you put space, right? Space, dash, space, 15, right? Are you there? All right? We're gonna assign those ports to VLAN 20, right? Right? Now we're gonna say what? We have to determine the mode. So what is the command? Switch port. Switch port, let me put like uppercase. Switch port, mode, access, right? Switch port, mode access. Rebecca, now we are dealing with the port from 10 to 15, we wanted them to go to VLAN 20. So switch port again, access VLAN 20, right? VLAN 20. So after this one now, so I will check one by one. So I will go to everybody, so I will give an exercise, and I will come now, make a follow-up. So if you got some difficulties, now I will come to your computer, I'll check what. Now you press what? Enter. Are you done?
Yes.
Now check, do show VLAN. Do show VLAN. What did you see? So you can see VLAN 20 name, your marketing, and those are the port that are belonging to what? To that one. All right. Now let me give you now my exercise, like an easy one. I'm gonna change the name. I don't want you to steal my names. You must start your own. Finance, logistics, management, 40, 60. Guys, this is my exercise. You're gonna start your own thing, all right? Make sure that you create for me those three, right? The way, yeah. Number of computers you know, the range you know, and the network like ID. So I can pick up here from 5, because this one is already used from 11. Let's start. How many? First, one switch only. We are splitting that one switch in 3 different ones, right? The one who's done can come. So I will give you the exercise. First person will show me how to create this one. Second person, how to rename them. Third person will assign the port range. And the last one will assign the IPs. Those IPs will go to computers, eh? Let me. So, okay, guys, so this is the last, no, at the end of my first recording. So I'll send the second one.